Real life.
Trent Bolt Part 2 in international cricket. Well, if you're a cricket fan, you would have woken up to this news today of yet another New Zealander announcing his retirement from international cricket. Colin de Grandhomme, born in Zimbabwe but plying his trade for New Zealand in the past decade or so, has announced his retirement from international cricket and he will play the Big Bash League. It's actually not very similar to Trent Bolt, because remember, Bolt has been released from his central contract, but he can only pick and choose his matches that he wants to play. When it comes to de Grandhomme, he's gone down the route of many other players, retiring altogether from international cricket and only focusing on T20 leagues. His retirement has once again opened up the debate, folks, whether international cricket is of prime importance or are T20 leagues going to be the future in the sport. The circumstances behind Colin de Grandhomme's retirement is very, very strange, folks, because the news of his retirement came today. Colin de Grandhomme retires from international cricket and he will play the Big Bash League. But his Big Bash League deal itself was in a bit of a quandary. Why is that? He explained the reasons as to why he wanted to retire. He has a growing family. And this point is very, very important, folks. He's trying to understand my future post-cricket. Remember, de Grandhomme is 36. He's not getting any younger. He's been plagued with injuries. Plus, there is an increase in competition when it comes to spots in the New Zealand cricket team. This has meant that maybe de Grandhomme saw the writing on the wall and he said, okay, I will announce my retirement from international cricket. Now, the Big Bash League move is very, very important, folks, when you consider Colin de Grandhomme. Look at the pay package that de Grandhomme will get. In one season that he earns for New Zealand cricket alone, in one season, he earns 350 USD approximately. Because he's one of the regulars who plays all three formats. But look at how much he will earn when he plays just 1 month of the BBL. Remember, this edition of the BBL is going to be from December 13th to February 4th. 1.5 to 2 months of the Big Bash League. He's going to earn USD 260,000. Finance, folks, that is the underline, that finance plays a big role in a player deciding what his future is. Because remember, New Zealand cricket is one of the bottom boards when it comes to pay. Although they have done a very egalitarian move by ensuring that women and men are being paid equally. But the amount of revenue that New Zealand cricket earns is very, very little. Now, what was the strange dilemma that I was talking about when it comes to the Big Bash League? He was picked by Adelaide Strikers, and that pay bracket of 260,000 is because he's in the gold category, not in the platinum category when it comes to the Big Bash League. Remember, there is a platinum, gold, silver and bronze categories in the Big Bash League, and each category has a fixed sum. So de Grandhomme came in the 260,000 pay bracket, USD when I'm talking. This is all USD figures, folks. But when he was picked by the Adelaide Strikers in the Big Bash League, New Zealand cricket were caught unawares. They just did not know why de Grandhomme chose it, because he was a centrally contracted player. Now the grind is, if you are a centrally contracted player, you have to get an NOC from the board to ensure that you participate in all the leagues. The Big Bash League, de Grandhomme suddenly came into the picture, and why was he picked? Availability. So Adelaide Strikers knew something that New Zealand cricket did not know, and today it was confirmed. De Grandhomme announces his retirement from international cricket, and now he will be totally available to play the Big Bash League for the Adelaide Strikers. It was a very strange dilemma, folks, that New Zealand cricket did not know. They released a statement saying we will talk with de Grandhomme, and today we find out that de Grandhomme has announced his retirement from international cricket. Pretty shambolic, pretty sad, but in the end this had to happen. Why is that? As I said, New Zealand talked with Colin de Grandhomme. He retired citing injury and increased competition. I had mentioned it at the beginning. This was the prime reasons why it happened. But why is it not surprising and why is it sad? This comes just a month after Trent Bolt had made a shocker that he is wanting New Zealand to release him from his central contract so that he can play all the T20 leagues, most of the T20 leagues. He can pick and choose his matches that he wants to. Trent Bolt had sought release from the central contract and will be available sporadically. So that is a big blow. Remember, in a space of 1 year and 2 months, when New Zealand won the ICC World Test Championship, they have lost Bolt and they have lost de Grandhomme. Two of their stalwarts in just 1.5 years, less than 1.5 years. So yet again, T20 leagues continue to dominate, folks. But here too, the leagues are clashing with each other to ensure which player is available. The CSA T20 League and the IL T20 League are clashing with each other. The Big Bash League is also clashing with the IL T20 and the CSA T20. That is why Chris Lynn and David Warner had to sign contracts to ensure they get a major portion of the Big Bash League deal and then be released to participate in future T20 leagues like the IL T20 and the CSA T20 League. Remember, folks, this is the new normal that we are seeing in international cricket now. UAE, South Africa, perhaps West Indies, in addition to the IPL, they might all play a big role in determining where the player wants to go. For de Grandhomme, it has been a rather, if you may say, there was a term called bits and pieces, military medium. If you wanted to have a term for all that, it was Colin de Grandhomme. 29 tests, 45 ODIs, 41 T20Is since 2012. Remember, folks, Colin de Grandhomme was born in Zimbabwe. He played for Zimbabwe in the 2004 Under-19 World Cup as well. But he moved to 2006 in New Zealand. He played for Auckland, and from that point on, he has only been playing for New Zealand. You will remember that he was part of the 2021 ICC World Test Championship winning side, folks, and he was also there in the 2019 ICC ODI World Cup final, where New Zealand lost because of a technicality. He took 6 for 41 on test debut versus Pakistan. It was a fantastic effort from Colin de Grandhomme. You'll remember that he's also a hard-hitting player who's hit a couple of centuries in test matches as well. He was a valuable asset, and remember, towards the fag end of his career, really troubled Virat Kohli with his WWEs. Remember the Hagley Oval Test? Perfect inducker. Kohli played all over the shot and he was plumb LBW. That was how de Grandhomme troubled him. So in a way, it is the end of yet another painful chapter, folks, for New Zealand, and they'll have to probably now pull up their socks, because remember, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, West Indies, these boards are very vulnerable for players to go to other leagues. You've already seen the fracas that's been happening in the West Indies for close to a decade. Many players opt out of a central contract. They are guns for hire in T20 leagues. New Zealand is following that same process, folks, and de Grandhomme is a continuation. Trent Bolt has not given up entirely on New Zealand, but his appearances after the T20 World Cup, in all likelihood, is going to be very, very sporadic. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to this live. We'll be back with more analysis and updates from Sports Today. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to check out the SportsTalk website, English, as well as download the SportsTalk app.